Welcome to Deep Thought. Developing your mind is power. I'm gonna tell you what, that's the whole point of this channel, is to get you to think. That's the whole point. That's why I say I don't have a problem if you disagree with me on something, as long as you show that you're thinking about it, and as long as it's not an attack. Somebody disagreed with something on here a few weeks ago. I had to delete their comment and block them because they were attacking me in the process. I was like, you can disagree. We can agree to disagree as long as you show that you're thinking about it. And I love those comments, but it means you're developing your mind. Understand something. And this is for the people, as I say, I don't promote certain spiritual paths. I don't promote them. Everybody has to find their own path, but I will share something from particular paths. I'll share something from those who follow the Hermetic path. They'll talk about the Hermetic laws of the universe, and they say all is mental, all is thought. Think about it. Everything you do is really coming from your mind. Everything you do, everything you do. Where you living, how you move through the world. You're not a automation. Even though some people think the sheep or, the masses are automation, just following along, and all of them, let's be real, most of them are following along, but they choosing to do it. They're allowing their mind to take in what someone else tells them, the days tell them. But if you really develop your mind, if you feed your mind, remember last week I talked about feeding your mind. You feed your mind with the right information, that's power. They say knowledge is power. Knowledge is really applied power. When you know how to do something, you can take care of it. When you have the knowledge of, it could be something as simple as fixing your car. That's power. You saving money right there. You don't have to pay an exorbitant fee to fix stuff. That's power right there. Or you using your knowledge to make money. Remember, money is a tool. The more knowledge you have of different areas, the better. That's power. And then if you can use it to affect your health. If you know, your own body, you know what you can do to prevent certain things from happening, or you know how to exercise. That's power right there. See, theys don't want you to think. They don't want you to think. They just want you to follow. They want you to give you the illusion of choice, like you following. And ultimately, it's not an illusion. Let me take that word back. Let me strike that. I wonder who talks about striking. Anyway, let me strike that. You have the choice of whether or not you want to follow certain things. And unfortunately, a lot of, you have some people trying to influence the choice, but it's still your choice. But if you want real power, you got to start up here, because everything comes from it. You get a lot, let's talk about the relationships. Like, you get a lot of guys thinking, well, I got to change my face. Some people even talking about plastic surgery. I got to get a certain percentage of body fat. I got to wear clothes a certain way. Where does all of that come from? It comes from your mind. You need to develop your ability to think about stuff. You need to develop your ability to critically think about stuff. When I say critically, question it. As I said, I always say, even for everything I say, go out and see for yourself. I want you to. When I'm on my other channel, I'm talking about body game. I don't want guys just to say, oh, let me use it. That's like, or, I ain't going to use it or anything like that. Or it just works. It's like, no, go find out for yourself if it works for you and how it works for you. But that's from the mind too. If you're going to work out, you still got to have the mindset to work out. You have to have the mindset to go for a certain type of woman, or for the ladies watching, a certain type of man. You got to have the mindset to get what you need to do to live in a certain place. But it all starts up here, It all starts right here, Develop your mind, your ass will follow. Because it has no choice. See, your mind is the driver. See, your body and everything is a vehicle, But you develop your mind, you can even deal with what happens outside of you in society, Wait a minute. Yeah, you can even develop what, you can even like deal with what happens outside of you. Yeah, just switching something here. Yeah. Yeah, I had to get my watch in a certain way. Now, I did that on purpose. Did that on purpose because part of it is in the back of your mind questioning. It's like, oh, why do you switch up like that? I purposely did so. But you pay attention to stuff like that, though. That's part of knowledge, like knowledge of how people behave, how they do stuff, their mannerisms, especially around you. Everything is knowledge. Then, because once you have knowledge, once you develop your mind, then you can make decisions at the right moment. It's very important. It's very important. Once you develop your mind, you can make a choice. You know, you might have a choice to do something at a certain moment. You might have a choice. You come to, I use one metaphysic perspective. Let me use another one, that of those who practice more metaphysical types, particularly those who might practice what's called hoodoo. You know, there's a lot of talk about crossroads. You know, we come to a crossroads in we'll come to a crossroads where a certain decision can take you in a certain way. You know what? I remember there was a young lady I dated and we broke up. We actually were living together and, I kind of had a foot to her back to get her out. And I knew just from knowing her, she would call back and try to get back at a certain time. And I could have got back with her, but that was a crossroads. I said, no, I'm not going to pick up the phone. I'm not going to pick up the phone. And I could see on call ID it was her. And I was like, no, I'm not going to pick up the phone. That was a crossroads. But how did I get to that crossroads? I made a choice. I made a choice because I had a knowledge of her behavior. I had a knowledge of where I wanted to go in the future. And I was like, she's not the one for me. See, when you develop your mind, you have power in all areas. There's no area. Because everything from what you do, because you're making choices. You're always making choices. What you want to do for a living, what's your mission in life, who you going to have for a mate, where you going to live. Now, some people might think that's outside of them, but no. You still making a choice. You still making a choice. You still creating your own reality. But how can you create your reality if you haven't developed your mind? That's the important thing, And you're not feeding you got to develop it. You need to feed your mind with the right things. You need to pay attention to the right people. And here's something else. As you develop your mind, you'll know when someone is good for it and when someone or something is good for it or someone or something is bad for it. Because it gives you power to move through life with authority. So understand that. Developing your mind is power. So that's all I have for now. I'll get back with you. Peace and blessings.